All right, ready to get started?
Yeah. Action.
Is it on already?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, it's been on the
All right, welcome guys to All About the Details podcast. We have a special guest here, David Sanchez, the car porter, the official car porter, Auto Care, and he also is a part of the Petersen Museum over there. And so he's a good friend of ours, and we are very blessed to have him here on the podcast. So
Thanks for joining us today.
Take it away, guys.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for having me. This is pretty cool. So let's see what we're going to talk about today.
Just getting started. This is episode 3. Overall, all about the details. So basically, we can talk about anything, but we want to get down to the details. It's not just detail related. It could be about anything.
Cool.
Work at the Petersen.
Yeah.
How you started? What got you there?
Wow.
Where you're at now?
When did you get started? And all that stuff. Yeah,
There's a lot of details.
Let's talk about you first.
Yeah, we're going to need a big segment for this one.
Yeah,
So
let's
this
talk about your introduction and then the details of the Petersen Museum.
So this actually goes back. I've been with the museum for about 24 years now. So I actually was not a detailer in the beginning. I came in, doing retail. So I started in the gift shop and then moved myself up. Eventually, I ended up detailing. That was probably about 4 years into it.
Okay.
So I've been really detailing for about 20 years.
So did you start in 99 or when did you start?
Yeah. So actually, it was part-time around 97, 98. I was still in school, but officially around 99, that's when I came on board full-time. Like I said, I came into retail and then, evolved and did other roles. And eventually, I was detailing the cars.
That's it.
And it's funny how it's grown to what it is now. Because back then it was just a diaper we used. We used to call them diapers. This is white towel and just some McGuire spray. And that's all we did. We never did the polishing, the waxes, none of that stuff. And it's funny how it's all grown. I mean, now we're doing ceramics.
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny that you say that because I've heard older guys, hot rod guys and stuff, say they've actually used a physical diaper for wax, like face wax.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I tell people that and they're like, what, a diaper? Like a kid's diaper? No. It's an actual towel.
No, but people have said they've actually used a kid's diaper.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I guess the material is so soft or whatever they said. I don't know.
Yeah, it might work. I mean, it worked for a baby's butt. So.
Yeah, it's absorbent.
Yeah, so, I was going with the museum, obviously got me certified and, got in a little bit better on the detailing part. And
now you're in charge of it. Now you got details.
Yeah. So now I'm the collections manager. So now I actually have a crew of guys that help me maintain the cars. And my involvement is done a little bit less now. Because, there's other things I have to do, like paperwork. I also oversee the mechanical part of the collection, so we got to ensure that the cars are running and stuff like that. So I oversee the whole maintenance of the vehicles. But it's good. I mean, now these cars are really properly maintained. So we have PMs. So our role there, I think, is more preservation than actually going in there and doing paint corrections. We want to preserve these cars for a long period of time. So we gotta approach them differently. Not like new cars.
You're cutting the paint, you're leaving a perfect finish, but then you don't have much to work with.
Exactly. So we're trying to minimize some steps. Obviously, we want to keep them nice and shiny, but to a certain extent, we don't want to wear these cars out. Like I said, I mean, some of these cars are 100 years old.
A lot of parts you can't really replace anymore.
Exactly,
right?
It's all about preservation. Keeping it original.
You probably can't find touch-up paint no more. Or
Exactly. Yeah. And not only that, if you do find it because of the wear and tear, you're never gonna match them.
Yeah.
You're never gonna match that paint. So
that or such old cars, people, if they do have, they probably want an arm and a leg for it.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but yeah, being at the Petersen, I've gotten to grow and meet people like you guys. I mean, thanks to being there, I got to meet Chris and you guys. So it's it's been a blessing. It's the industry's growing definitely. I mean, I remember back in the days there was only a couple of brands like the big ones, McGuire's, Mother's. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, there's a bunch of brands. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to choose one.
I get people asking me, "Hey, have you tried this product?" I'm like, No.
I don't
so
even
much
know what it
competition
is.
out there now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but it's cool. I mean, the industry definitely has grown and more products out there, and yeah, it's a cool thing. I mean, it's good to be part of it.
Yeah.
There's what do you call it? Like basically, I feel like detailing back then, not a lot of people knew what it was as opposed to what it is now. There's like, I mean, literally almost everyone's getting a detail nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, people are finally starting to understand what detailing is. I mean, it was always just a Sunday morning, pull out your hose and get a scrub, some dishwasher soap, and then wash your car, and not knowing that you're harming it or you're doing it wrong. But people are starting to get on the program where they're starting to understand what details are, and it's helping. I mean, it's helping us as guys that do this for a living, and it's preserving their cars,
right,
for years to come. So
it's true you say that because like even a basic wash nowadays is more of a detail than just a wash. Like the products that are involved, the way you're doing it. Like you said, it's more than just let me fill up a bucket with some soap and put a sponge in.
Yeah. That's absolutely right. Yeah, I remember being a kid and helping my dad wash the car, and it was just bringing out the water hose and then hitting it with the water hose, and then the
rinsing it, putting your thumb on
exactly.
Get the pressure going.
Knock down as much dirt.
And then finding an old shirt, you weren't using anymore to dry it up, and it's definitely evolved for sure. I mean,
now it's like, do you have a Honda GX200 or the Quenzo or the AR pump or? What is all
I even used to. My grandpa used to make me use newspaper for the window.
Yeah.
I was tripping out. I remember the first time.
No, you're right. That's a big one. I mean, I remember using a newspaper. Oh, if you don't want streaks, use a newspaper.
Like water and vinegar with the newspaper.
Yeah. There's a lot of methods out there, and it's funny how people use stuff to get things done.
David and I were on the phone the other day, and he was talking about this term that I think is really important for us, especially from our first episode. We were talking about how detailing regular cars to detailing show cars, these low riders. And what David and I were talking about was preservation detail, right? And that's like a whole nother level. And well, tell me a little bit more about that. What do you guys do at the museum in regards to that, and in your business? You're using those different techniques, right?
Yeah. So it just comes down to the approach. I mean, how we're gonna do it. Obviously, with a vehicle that you're trying to preserve, you're minimizing like cutting. So taking a machine to the car and using degreasers, chemicals that might, I mean, on a normal car, not really do much harm because, they have clear coats, they have a good solid paint. With these older cars, especially older cars, I mean, they're single stage cars. So you really can't come in and say, you know what, I'm going to do a paint correction because you're taking layers of paint off.
Exactly.
So with the museum, it's a little bit harder because, we do get cars that have swirls and stuff like that. But it's like, at the end of the day, they're an old car. We want to preserve it, keep it intact. These little scratches, things, they add character to the car. And sometimes, you might affect the value of the car by making it perfect.
You're telling me about that.
Yeah. So it's a big thing. It's funny because you're like, well, if it has a scratch and you take it off, I would think it's more valuable. No. Some of these cars, removing the scratches,
right?
it's the patina of the car.
So we were taking a tour through the Petersen and all these cars, right? What stood out was I think it's the number 1 Ferrari.
Yeah.
And it was like Ferrari got involved. They kind of restored it, completely restored. And you look at it, it looks brand new. You wouldn't think it's like the first car. Do you think that's something that kind of ruined the value, or?
Well, definitely. I mean, first of all, I would be scared to take a machine to that car and start trying to do a paint correction.
If you look at it, it's like brand new paint and everything.
It's a one of one. It's the first Ferrari ever batched, and you would think, oh, well, let's make that nice and shiny and pretty. But you're trying to minimize the risk to some of these cars, so the approach has to be a little bit different. You just won't go on town on something like that like you would do on a newer car.
Right.
But yeah, it's mostly our job there is preservation, wiping them properly, techniques. When it comes to detailing, it's all technique.
Definitely.
Growing up in the early days, it was just grab this diaper and then just kind of circular motion. We're all stuck with wax on, wax
Mr.
off.
Miyagi.
And sometimes, those methods might ruin the car a little bit more. So, as I've grown in the industry, I've been taught to always go sideways in a certain motion.
Right. Wow.
And then, in a long way. So, it's just having proper techniques. And at the end of the day, you're going to do what you think is best for you.
Yeah.
Time is money. So, guys want to make sure to go in there, do the job, and get out and jump to the next one. But, I suggest take your time and do it right the first time to minimize risk. But yeah, that's the approach we take at the museum is just, we try to stay away from the abrasives.
Yeah.
And just simple procedures. So, we use dusters to dust our cars.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
California dusters?
Well, not the California dusters. I'm talking about those fluffy
feather-looking things.
Like the office desk looking.
Yeah. So that's what we use to dust them. We're not really getting grime from outside from the roads, so it's just dust that we get from
very light dust.
Yeah. So those seem to work way best.
Instead of putting a towel.
Yeah. Makes sense. And obviously, that's another key, using good towels.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people sometimes go for quantity. I can get a box of 100 at Amazon for $50 versus buying 10 for $40, but the quality is much better. So I always tell guys, invest on good towels.
Yeah.
Do you have a towel preference?
We use multiple brands. Right now the towels that we've been using, a lot of those Korean flush ones from Auto Fiber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've been pretty good to us. They
Mr. Everything or
yeah. So that's what we use. We're a world class museum, so our budget's a little bit bigger than some guys that are just starting in the industry.
Okay.
But I would suggest invest in good towels. That's the number one thing. And then your chemicals come right after that. Having good towels, are good. It's gonna make a long way. Yeah, definitely.
Especially damaging like other cars.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're not trying to create more work for yourself.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Axel's the dry ice came in clutch for you guys, right? With the tires. How did that work out for you guys?
Oh, that was phenomenal. So we just installed, what was it, about 50, 60, 70 tires?
Probably more. Yeah.
I don't know. I lost count after 20 tires.
A couple of times coming
So the museum actually put together a tire exhibit, which is the biggest tire exhibit ever put together. There's been tires in different car museums and these tire manufacturers, little museums where they have 10, 15 tires. But the museum decided, tires are part of the history of the automobile. So, we went out, found very rare tires, and, they were weathered. Some of these tires were in storage for a long period of time. So, they grew.
Was it hard to find tires? How do you talk to people? Hey, we're looking for so and so tires.
So we went to manufacturers. Actually, we got. Okay. Did you end up getting the Mars tire too?
No, but I did see it on display.
So we not Mars. Was it Mars or the Moon?
The Moon, I think.
Oh, so it was a tire that was used in one of those rovers that was shot up to the moon.
There's a crazy story behind it, right?
Yeah, there is. But to go back to the tires, so the tires were in storage. They got mildew and stuff on it. So we were like, how do we clean these tires without jeopardizing the state of them? So we went back and forth. We actually did a couple of tests jobs on them, and we were just not getting the results. So I knew about this guy having an icebox. I'm like, well, you know what? Let's take one out there and sample it, and that's what did it. It was not hard at all, at least for us. You're the one that did the job, but they came out perfect.
I saw tires here with the wooden rim and stuff. I was like, well, I didn't even want to get near it.
Well, it was to move them around, especially the ones with the wooden ones, and then they have the center piece and all that. It was a little bit hard to work with them, but Yeah, I was
Well, I
trying to
really
be as
didn't want to
cautious as
tell.
possible.
I really didn't want to tell Axel, but some of these tires were like one in existence. So we got
Just
we got a. I think we got a tire from the Fort Museum, and it was one of one.
Oh, shit.
So I didn't want to tell because I didn't want him to have that pressure. Maybe you knew. Maybe
I
after the
didn't
fact.
I
know.
don't think you knew.
But some of the tires that we were looking at, we kind of figured were like,
I've never
this
seen
thing
that.
disintegrates.
Like the ones we saw, like they're all brittle, like they look like they're ready to just fall apart.
The rubber
How do you wanna touch
Some were like real mushy or like.
Yeah, but some of these tires, I mean, the museum went through great lengths to try to get them. And when we did find them, it was trying to convince them, hey, can we borrow these? Oh, but these are one of a kind, you know. They're very fragile. So, yeah, they were able to pull it off. And then this guy came through with the dry ice, and we were able to put a perfect exhibit up.
Yeah. I mean, I like the whole idea of the preserving cars. I think that's just a whole nother level of detailing, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's just a whole nother standard, it's even a whole nother mindset. For example, when a lot of people just see, in the beginning would think it's just a car wash, and then now it's transformed into detailing.
Right.
And now that's just a whole nother, how can you preserve a vehicle?
Yeah, that's going to be a category that's going to be coming up pretty soon, on how to preserve. I mean, because it's a term that's not being used. It's just, like a detail and stuff. And I rarely hear someone say, well,
Preservation.
let's preserve this vehicle or preservation detail. I mean, what is it? I mean, we're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
As a museum itself, I've kind of named it that, but is it even a term? Is it not? I believe that it is.
I feel like it is a term. It's just more of a, what are you really doing to this car to preserve it? And obviously to not damage or like,
people just don't really understand the term yet.
Yeah. It's something new. I mean, there's detailing products have been around for 100 years, but 100 years is not a long time if we really think about it.
Yeah. It's one lifetime.
Yeah. So, this is all new to everyone, to all of us. And it's just learning from it and implementing these procedures and making the best out of it. But, I mean, it helps that the industry's growing. And
is there like a history of like detailing that? Like,
not that I know of. I mean, it's funny because this year I was out at SEMA, so I got to participate with Sonac's booth and the Flex. So they're they're big sponsors of the museum.
Nice.
We're being sponsored by Sonax. We use their products in our vehicles at the museum, and they go well hand in hand.
mm-hmm.
But if you guys visit the Flex booth, they had an old polisher there. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Oh, super old. It was like on display. I remember.
Yeah,
that.
over
I
100.
have seen it.
Over 100 years old, and that was pretty cool. So I think when I saw that, I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I think maybe that's something the museum should look into, because it goes hand in hand with the cars. The maintaining your cars. But I think it would be cool to put something together where you can show the history of detailing and how it has evolved to now. I mean, because
polishers back then, or a bunch of hand tools. And
not only that, the products itself. I mean, because the waxes now everything's like in a spray form.
For the longest, wax or Canuva was the green, right? And recently it's got to the SiO2 or like we talked about graphene, and what's the other one you mentioned right now?
Boraphene.
Yeah, which I don't even know what that is.
That's coming out. We'll talk more about it in a little bit. Preserving vehicles, because he's from the museum, the Petersen.
Oh, you're Petersen.
Yeah. So how do you preserve the cars versus just detailing? This is like a whole other topic. So you were talking about Sonax and trying to get an exhibit in regards to.
So, well, I mean, I don't know about trying to get an exhibit, but I would think that it's a good idea to be able to educate people also how these products, these methods that were used 80, 90 years ago, how it's evolved to now. I think it's something cool. But going back to Sonax, I mean, they came in and they've been able to help us out with training.
That's awesome.
On how to use the products. And not only that, I mean, just training in general, like proper methods on how to, wash a car, how to dry a car, how to use the towels. And it's funny because sometimes you might be doing this for 10, 15 years and you think you have it down.
Yeah.
And then someone comes in and tells you, hey, have you ever tried doing it this way?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh crap, I never thought about that. But it's about learning and educating yourself and teaching others too. It's not only about you. I talk to Axel once in a while, and I mention things to him also on how to possibly improve his business.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for. I mean, I think everyone should participate and kind of help people grow in their business, because at the end of the day, the bigger the business grows, the more the people know, on how to use products or how to do things right. It benefits everyone because
So the industry as a whole just becomes a whole lot better. I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even with these new guys that are out there washing cars and charging $25-$30. So I tell them, hey, it's all good if you're starting. I said, but we need to get you properly trained so you can charge properly. Because we want to make sure that everyone does it right and it stays level.
Yeah.
Right.
So so everyone can make money. At the end of the day, it's all about making money and having good results out there. But I feel that when new guys come into the business and they start off as guys that wash cars and are charging $30-$35.
So you got to get that edge to be able to get that business going.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So
well, I mean, a lot of guys call it the low hanging fruit. Right? It's something that you can easily grab, and you can get a lot of them. But at the end of the day, how profitable are you really being? With the products that are expensive.
Exactly.
You're putting good products on there. You're using good soap. You're not just using dish soap and any type of hose water.
Right.
You're actually investing in spot-free water. You're using good, chemicals, and
Exactly.
you're only charging $30. What are you left with?
Exactly. So. Yeah, but I mean, it's all about helping guys, educating. Yeah, that's what it comes down, and that's actually talking about that's how I met you here.
Right.
You had this little seminar with
Rennie Doyle and Buffenshine.
Right, and that's how I got to
cool.
meet
A bunch of I think Rufus was here. There's a lot of people from they're all
From
the same industry, but it's like
Dynabraid.
Yeah. And I encourage guys to sign up for those. I mean, those are good. I mean, like I said, even if you've been doing it for 5-10 years, whatever it is, you go to these and you learn stuff.
You learn something new.
Yeah, all the time.
There was this one also at SEMA. It was Rennie Doyle, but it was like all the big companies were there. Flex, Sonax,
Oh, that's right.
All the leaders in the industry.
Yeah.
He has a detailers reunion on Wednesday night, and everyone's just there, and it's just a big social gathering. Yeah. But I think you were busy that night. We were trying to invite you.
That would
have been awesome for you.
We were presenting some awards and couldn't make that. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I think
maybe on the next one, huh?
Yeah, maybe in the next one next year. We'll see how it goes. But I think people should take advantage of those and sign up for those trainings.
Definitely.
It always
especially
helps.
even the seminars. Like he was just talking like business and what you can do to better yourself, or not even that, just your own business, how you can grow. And I feel like a lot of people that come into detailing, they might be detailers, but they don't know the business side of it. So it's always better to kind of have like someone to see as a mentor or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
I liked what he said. He was talking about one of the first things he said. He was like, "Good morning," and then everyone was just kind of like, "Good morning," and then he was just talking about, like, he repeated himself. He's like, "Hey, when a client meets you or sees you when you're working on the car, you need to have good high energy. Right. And if you come in kind of like, they're gonna not be too convinced. Like, oh, this guy.
Yeah, no, you gotta be assertive,
So that was a good day, though. I appreciate you coming out.
These
good. Guys came out too to support.
You brought a Nomad that day, I think.
Safari.
I was confused for a Nomad.
Yeah, it was a Pontiac Safari I brought out.
Nice car.
Yeah, pretty low production number. I think, what is it, 2,300 made? Under 2,300 made? Yeah.
And that thing is all original.
All original.
Is there like one of because there's so many cars at the Petersen. and obviously cars that come in and out. But is there one that kind of just like man, I really like driving this one, or when you gotta move it or something like?
So I always get asked this question: what's your favorite car? Or what car, if you could take any car from the museum, which car would you take? Obviously, if I can take any car from the museum, I'm going to take the most valuable car.
Yeah.
Hands down, I'm going to pull out the car that's worth the most, and that one is the first batch Ferrari. Definitely, I would take that and buy whatever the hell I want. But my favorite car, I mean, I walked in there 24, 25 years ago. The first car that I saw in the lobby was a 56 Bel Air, and I fell in love with that car. That's the reason why I have the Bel Air fin on my logo.
Is it the same one? Or
no, it's not the same one.
Yeah.
But that car, man, that 56 Bel Air drives me nuts. Yeah, there it is. Even though that's a 57, they got it wrong. But
still nice design.
But yeah, that's my favorite car. So if there's a car that they say, hey, you gotta take a car, that'll be your daily driver. It'll be that 56.
Nice.
Definitely. That's my favorite car. But I get to drive all kind of stuff. From a 56 Bel Air to a 2023 Pagani, not Enzo, F40, LaFerraris. All kind of stuff that comes in through there. So I'm kind of privileged to have that job and be able to not only maintain them but also get to drive them, which is a pretty cool thing.
That's nice.
And the people you meet too.
Yeah, and absolutely. Well, that's another thing. I mean, you get to meet very interesting people. Make good friends, and yeah, it's something cool, man. It's definitely been a good run. So,
what do you think you like better though, as far as like the classic? Like, do you prefer? I guess you could say like the more of like American classic, or would you prefer like a classic Ferrari, a classic
European.
Porsche, or like
Europeans?
It's hard to say.
What's your preference?
well,
like for example, like you're saying, like the 56 Bel Air, would you prefer that, or would you prefer like the LaFerrari or?
No, you know what? Maybe when, like I said, I mean the 56 is my all time car. I fell in love with that car, but obviously, I like Ferraris. I like all the cars, but as I've gotten older, I've gotten slower too. So, in the beginning it was like, oh, the Enzo. I'll take that, go 100.
Fast horsepower,
But now as I'm getting older, I've seen myself kind of just driving the older American cars, like the Chevys.
Went from like hitting the track to just cruising.
Right. And not only that, I mean, I've gained a couple pounds, so it's hard. It's hard to get into a newer car, a Koenigsegg or a LaFerrari.
It's true. Yeah, some of the older American cars, dude, they're land yachts. There's so much room in there. Like,
that's the reason why I brought that wagon. I was trying to figure out what car should I take out there. I'm like, this is perfect. It has a couch of a seat.
Yeah, literally. The bench seat.
Yeah. You're going to be comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially you're sitting in traffic.
If I was going to sit in traffic for an hour, that was the car I was going to sit in.
Yeah.
I remember we were at Formula One and you guys took a lot of cars there and like obviously to drive around the track with all like the Formula One drivers, right? So I think you got into one of the cars as you guys were moving around and you couldn't fit, right?
Yeah. So this year we participated in F1 out in Vegas.
Okay.
So obviously it was the first time for them and it was the first time for us. So we got to provide 22 cars that parade the drivers before the race. So Axel was out there, he was out there, I invited him to kind of hang out with us. So he saw the whole process. So for, actually the cars were out there for 3 weeks. So we participated in SEMA, the concours at the Wynn, and then F1. So we had our cars out there staged for almost 3 weeks.
Wow.
So in those 3 weeks, I'm out there prepping the cars, ensuring that they run. Every other day we're taking them out for spins to make sure that, nothing goes wrong. And, he got to see me test driving some of the cars, and it was a pain in the ass to try to get in and get out. These guys were just cracking up. They're like, "Oh, you like the guys from what is it? That monkey from Donkey Kong?"
From
like the Incredibles.
But
Mario Kart game.
But I'm very blessed to have that job and be able to do things like that. I mean, thanks to the Petersen, I'm able to travel.
That's awesome.
So you were out in Vegas for 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Wow.
So, you think of these places and you're like, oh, I can live out there. After the first week, I was done. I was like, oh, I'll go back home. Yeah.
Back to LA.
Because not only that, but you're having to like eat out every day and whatnot too, right? So
Yeah, it's kind of good. I mean, you get to eat
you got the good food.
some good meals on the Peterson's tab. But yeah, after a while, there's nothing like
Being at home.
yeah, being at home and sleeping in your own bed and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what can you tell us about your business, your detailing business?
So, I started to kick that off about earlier this year. But just being that I'm so busy with the museum, it kind of slowed down. I do have a couple contracts here and there that I do. I try to keep it as minimal as possible. Okay. So the way I do it is I try to tie the people I have, and do monthlies. So I work out a schedule with them and say, hey, come out every other week, every week. I charge you X amount of dollars for a month, and that's how my services go. Because being stuck at the museum, someone called me, hey, can you come and detail my car? It's a little bit harder to get out.
Gotcha.
So with these contracts that I have now, I accommodate them to my schedule. So I have a guy that's actually a collector that has a few cars. I do his cars. I have him on a maintenance. So every other week, I go and work on his cars, and then I also do a lunch truck. So that started off as just, washing it from the exterior, and then it went into cleaning the inside. I jumped into something I had never done. So that was a little bit exciting.
That's detailing on another level.
Yeah, that's detailing on another level. So, basically trying to clean a mobile kitchen, that's what it is.
Wow.
So, from the hoods to the prep stations, and it's totally different because now you're dealing with areas that they're prepping food.
Yeah,
so it's a
sanitary.
You have to see what chemicals you can.
Yeah, so it's a whole different approach.
You're not just going in there spraying water and stuff.
But it's a good thing because maybe guys that are starting in, maybe that's a type of route they want to take because it's good money.
Yeah,
there's a lot of mobile food trucks.
Food trucks, especially out here in LA.
Recently, I feel like just basically the vendor in the street industry is like just grown.
Oh yeah,
a lot, and like food trucks, all the other stuff. It's like probably that's a good industry to probably get into.
Yeah,
just detailing all that.
Well, the demand's there, right? There's more people.
Yeah,
people are starting to realize like, why am I going to pay so much in rent?
Yeah. So
that's kind of one thing too, where you could kind of say it like as far as the kitchen part, it's kind of like a preservation detail. I feel like because you want to keep it to a certain standard because it's getting used so often.
Yeah. The only thing with that is you just got to be careful what type of chemicals you use.
Yeah, especially with the grease or like the sanitation part of it. Like,
so yeah, it took me a while actually to try to figure this out. So I remember when they proposed it to me, I said, well, I've never done that before. Well, how hard could it be? You know what? The beginning, I was like, oh man, I was getting frustrated because their fryer area is the area that gets the most dirtiest. Used and the dirtiest.
Yeah.
So now I got to figure out how to take grease off these areas without using chemicals that are gonna harm the materials and the prep areas. But we found chemicals that were safe to use, and it kicked off. So been doing that for about 6 months now, and it's worked out. I mean, it's a good form of revenue for me. So I encourage guys that are looking for more work, maybe go down that avenue and try that out. Because there's a lot of lunch trucks out there.
Yeah. You work out a plan where it's like more on a monthly.
Like you kind of got to get comfortable like outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, that's what it's about. And going back to the guys that do the car washes, it's also about washing the car, but seeing what other service you can provide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the lunch truck and I provided a different service, which is cleaning the inside. As a detailer, okay, well or as a car washer or whatever you want to call it, I'm washing the cars, but what else am I doing? Well, maybe you can start into learning how to restore the headlights. Another form. Now there's products to actually polish the windshields, the glasses on the cars.
Right.
Learning those type of things, and that's an extra service you can add.
Definitely.
And I mean, if you're charging $35-$45 for a car wash, now you're gonna add a service for $20, another $30, so now you're charging $100.
Yeah.
So I encourage guys to go out of the comfort zone and learn these little other
learn other things.
things that you can offer.
Add-ons. That's a big one.
Yeah, add-ons. I mean, that's where the money comes. It's like a restaurant. You go eat. You want some mac and cheese? Now you got to pay $6 for that extra mac and cheese. Your extra ranch, they charge you $1.50.
Yeah. So they don't tell you like it's gonna be this one. You pay the tab and then. So wait. It's a list of things that you got.
So in detailing, car washing, add-ons are good.
A la carte.
A la carte. Yeah, definitely.
Right on. All right. You got any other questions for David or?
So there's this, like, obviously people hear the Petersen, it's like, it rings in their head, oh, the Petersen, there's a lot of nice cars and all that. But then, like, going back to the 90s, like, when Biggie got shot and all that, do you get a lot of questions about that?
So for a long time, people would ask me, where do you work? The Petersen? The Petersen, what is that? You know where Biggie got shot? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I know what you're talking about.
I know where that is.
I know where that is. Yeah. But
okay,
the museum has grown.
Now it's changed. Now it's just like
now you they see me walking with a shirt. It says, my uniform. I wear the Petersen shirt. You work at the Petersen. Oh my God, that's a cool ass place.
Yeah.
And it's actually rewarding to hear that because for a long time I heard, what is that? Oh, where Biggie got shot. And that's the only way you can kind of tell people what it was. But now people know what the Petersen is. It's become a big thing, and we're proud of it. Actually, in the last 5 years, we won World's Best Car Museum.
Wow.
So I think it was 2 years in a row that we won that.
Awesome.
So that's a big accomplishment for us.
Big deal, man. Jeez.
So we're very happy to own that title of museum's best world car museum. So yeah, I mean the museum's grown. We've grown as staff and it's been an awesome ride. So
yeah, people that are coming in and out of that place donating cars.
And it's crazy because one of our guys that sets up not the events, but the exhibits, his job is to go out and find new stuff to bring into the museum. His name's Brian, and his job is to put exhibits together. Mm-hmm. In the past, it was hard for him to try to get cars on loans to the museum because all the cars that come that we don't have, I mean, the museum has about a little bit over 250 cars.
Yeah.
In the museum. So, we have the vault area where we store the overflow. So whenever we put together an exhibit, we can take it from the vault. But if we don't have the car, we'll reach out to private collectors to lend us their car so we can put an exhibit together. But in the beginning, guys wouldn't lend us, or people wouldn't lend us their vehicles. They were like, well, I don't know if I want to loan your car to you guys. And now people are getting in line. Oh, I have this 1949 da-da-da-da. We want to display at the museum. So,
nice.
So yeah,
come along
right now. Our brand has gotten so big that
now you're turning people away.
Yeah, now we turn people away. Sorry, we don't have room for your car. But yeah, it's definitely.
Even like I've heard some people are like, I gotta try to get my car here. Like I want my car. It's the Petersen. I want my car to be there.
Like Gotham Garage. I saw that episode on Netflix, and I was like, how they worked so hard and they got a car in there. That was cool.
Right.
So I asked you about that, and then the lowrider exhibit is coming up, right? You guys are trying to. Is that a secret, or is that something that's you guys are doing? Or?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. No. So yeah, the museum this coming year, they're gonna be putting a lowrider exhibit together. That's awesome. So being Latino, being Mexican, I'm pretty happy for that because that's kind of our culture.
Yes,
out here in LA.
Yeah. What I like is they kind of diversify everything. It's not just it's about the Ferraris or the Porsches.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of Elvis's car is there.
Yeah.
And the movies, they got a lot of cars from the movies.
So yeah, if you guys haven't been out there, you guys got to go check us out. We're on the corner of Wilshire and Fairfax.
Or just look up where Biggie was killed.
Or just look up where Biggie was killed, and you'll find it. But yeah, it's I mean, the museum, in these past 10 years has evolved, to be a world-class museum, and we have some pretty cool stuff. So I recommend people to go out and check us out. And the museum's starting to do kids programs.
Oh, okay.
Where we're bringing in kids from local schools and we're showing them how to detail.
Oh, nice.
So that program's kicked off, and
I like that.
I have a lot of young competition coming.
And we're not
Next
only
generation, right?
and we're not only doing it in English, but we're also doing it in Spanish, which is a cool thing.
Yeah,
I like that.
So yeah, we're starting to educate our members and then kids from surrounding schools on how to not only detail but also work on cars. So we show them how to do oil changes, how to change out the tires and stuff like that. So now
that's something that just started out, or you guys?
Yeah, it's important
I
because
feel like that's the thing. A lot of the younger generation has lost the skill of is like an oil change or something.
Because not everybody at home works on their car.
Yeah, the average
and
person
you usually
now
get that
doesn't.
experience from my dad used to do his oil change. So
Yeah, like when I grew
school
up,
has taken out wood shop. School has taken out pretty much like automotive.
all that hands-on.
You're not even
stuff
doing
is
like behind the wheel driving anymore.
Right.
I used to learn how to do that.
like I'm sure for
my
you,
high
like,
school, something that I like, it was, I don't know, it was badass to me. I was in architecture and engineering, and it was an academy through the school, and then there was a wood shop thing. So for us, we designed the toy, and then it was up to the wood shop to like make it and all that, and then they would donate it to like local child fairs and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
So, that was,
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
don't know,
like, I
they
feel
don't
like
have that no more, right?
like when I was growing up, like I'm pretty sure for like most of us, like we'd see our dad or grandpa or somebody working on the car.
Yep.
Versus now, a lot of the younger generation, what's this light on my dash mean? Like,
Yeah.
why is there an orange arrow on my dash? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Someone told me this one. They're like, why is there an emoji in my car, like on the dash? You're like, I lost it.
Yeah, I heard that.
You gotta try to collect all of them.
Yeah. There's an emoji that's not on my phone, but it's on the car. Like, what is that?
Like, even so simple as like a nail in a tire, the average person, like, I got to go to the tire shop or I got to buy a new tire. Where it's like, if you know how to do it, you just, you can plug it yourself,
or use the slime.
Yeah. Like you said, as simple as an oil change, the average person doesn't know how to do one.
Yeah.
And because a lot of the new cars now, they don't even use filters. They use like that weird cartridge looking thing.
Yep.
That's cool.
If you don't have at least some basic knowledge of how to do it, unfortunately, you're gonna have to go to a dealer or someone that's gonna charge you a price you probably don't want to pay. But if that's your only option, that's the only option.
Right. No, you're right about that. So that's something new that we're kicking off. We did a couple samples this past year, and it kicked off. We've gotten good feedback. So this coming year,
something like for a school will sign up for it, and they'll do like a field trip to the Petersen or local. Or
so we have a database of local schools. Mm-hmm. So we'll reach out to certain schools and be like, hey, we have 15 spots open for a mechanic shop. It runs for 4 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever the time frame we choose. And then, they'll send out 15 kids. They'll come on the weekend, and then we'll go for, like I said, how to change tires, to do an oil change, and even brakes. Depends on the age group of kids who we get in.
That's pretty cool.
And then we threw the detailing in, and they accepted it. Actually, a lot of kids get excited with that one.
Yeah.
So we decided to do it a couple more, and yeah, I'm excited about it. So, hopefully,
or you get some companies behind you guys as sponsors and all that.
Well, we do have Sonex.
Okay.
So nice. they help us out. They sponsor these programs, and they come out 4 times a year. So we do our member program too, where we'll send out emails to our members. They'll come out and we'll do a class on how to properly clean your car and maintain it.
That's awesome.
So you could be a member of the museum.
Yeah, you can be a member.
No, it doesn't have to involve you having a car there, right?
No. So members, we'll send out emails blast, and whoever wants to participate. We try to keep the class the minimum 10, 15 people, and if you sign up for it, then yeah, you come down and spend a day with me.
I like that.
Uh,
I like that.
It's really cool.
All right. So David, let our followers know where they can find you online. How do they reach out to you?
So I'm on Instagram, the official car porter, and you can also find me on TikTok, which is the car porter.
Yeah.
And
Oh, your TikTok's pretty big, man.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
People are probably seeing you there before.
Yeah, some viral videos, so go check them out.
Check it out, and you can always come down to the museum and visit us. So yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure. I know we talked about it for a while, and I'm glad everything worked out. You made it out here.
Yeah.
I wish we would have done it at the museum. It would have been cool.
Yeah,
It would have been awesome. Maybe the next one we'll do it again.
Let's do it again. Maybe
Maybe
get some of the other guys involved.
Oh yeah.
The guys in the shop.
we could have like a bigger, kind of a bigger group discussion.
Yeah, like the mechanics
And
all
yeah, we'll get a little more footage. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining us here at All About the Details. Please like, subscribe, and support our channel and share with your family and friends. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.